All right, guys. So in our last session, we looked at entering bills and paying bills. We also looked at creating estimates, creating invoices. Well, we actually created an invoice from an estimate, right? And we created a new customer at the time of creating the estimate. All right. So let us now go into the customer center. So we can do that by clicking on the customer menu, clicking on customer center. And we can see the list of customers, including our most recent customer, who now has a balance total from our last transaction because we ordered 2 cabinets, right, at $500 each. There was $77.50 tax. So the customer Digital Solutions has a new balance for Sample Rock Castle Construction Company of $1,077.50. Let's assume now that at the time, well, very shortly after sending out the invoice, so you would print your invoice. So let's see our invoice. We could actually go looking for the invoice, or we could pull it up by number, right? We can actually go through the list of previous invoices, but this is our last invoice. We could print, right, and send to the client, or we could email to the client, as I mentioned. However, shortly after we sent the invoice, right, they send somebody across to with a check for payment. So what we want to do next is receive a payment. So we click on receive payments. And again, just for emphasis, I'm going to close and show you that you could also do it if you don't have the home window open. You could also just go to the customer menu and go to receive payments from him. Right? So received from, the name of the company is Digital Solutions, right? And they will pay in that entire bill. They will pay in the bill of $1,077.50. So we can actually just put a tick here and notice it automatically puts in the payment amount, right? Alternatively, we could type in the payment amount here. So 1077.5, right? And then notice it automatically put a tick here. So either way it'll work, right? We have different types of payment. Notice we have cash payments, we have check payment, right? We have credit or debit card payments, and more payment options. Sorry, they're opening different things on the screen. But so if it's a cash payment, we have a reference number, but a check payment, we want to put in the check number. Let's say it's check number 7, all right? It's as simple as that. You receive a check from Digital Solutions. It's payment in the amount of $1,077.50. We got it on that day, or let's say it was a day later, on the next day. All right? They gave us check number 7. And we can see if we apply those payments, we should have a balance of $0. So let's save and close that transaction. All right? And now if we do a report, well, before we do the report, let's go back to the customer center. We go customer center, right? We can see Digital Solutions indeed at the top of the list, but the balance total is now $0. Yeah. So you can see the list of transactions. There was first an estimate, then an invoice created, right? They were created on the same day, the order kind of off. But then the following day, there was a payment that cleared that off. Yeah. If you want to see the well, the report is actually not going to show it because it's actually no longer a customer owing, right? So if it did have a balance, you would see it represented on the customer balance summary report. Okay. So that is pretty much how you would receive a payment, right, on an invoice within QuickBooks. So we first created an estimate, then we created an invoice from the estimate, and then we paid that invoice off. Yeah? All right. Let's look at if we were to create a receipt for customer because they were to pay, they are paying the item off at the time of purchase, right? So a customer comes in and they're asking for, let's see what items we have available for sale. So we're going to create a sales receipt. And let's say they're asking for blueprints, right? They have a project coming up and they want us to create a set of blueprints for them. So they are requesting the blueprint service, right? We're charging them for one blueprint and we're charging them a cost of $1,000 for those blueprints, right? Notice, unlike the last transaction, the blueprints are non-taxable, right? We can specify whether it's taxable or not, but notice it's already configured as non-taxable, so there's no added tax, right? Otherwise, you will have the Santum at 7.75%. So you can have some items that are taxable, some items that are not taxable, and you will configure that again in your item preferences, and you will configure your tax in your company preferences. So we're creating the receipt now, right? They ordered the blueprints for $1,000 and they're paying by cash, right? The customer, let's say it's an existing customer, right? Baker Chris. So Baker Chris is ordering a new set of blueprints and is paying by cash, right? So we're creating a receipt. You can save, right? And at this point, we can print a receipt for the customer. We can either print a regular receipt. Sorry, let me show you my print preview. So this would be my print preview window for a full-size sales receipt, right? Showing blueprints at the cost at a rate of $1,000. Yeah. And then of course we could print that and give the customer a receipt. Right. Now, let me just go back to the preview. Our receipts here look pretty boring, right? They there's no logo, it's just plain white. We can actually configure our and customize our forms, whether it be our receipts or invoices, but then let's leave that for a little later on. For now, it serves its purpose. Right? And then save and close. So we've created a receipt for Baker. So let's now do a report. And where might we see Baker, the transaction in a report? We can see it in a few different places, right? We can probably pull up the profit and loss and go into the detail. But let's look at income by customer summary. And Baker Chris, we now see that he did a family room previously at a cost of $3,290.31. And then he did another job. Notice it didn't have any specific job assigned to it. It was just other, but he paid us $1,000, and you can see that reflected in our income by customer summary. It would also change the values that will be represented in our balance sheet. Sorry. Financial. Let's go profit and loss, actually detail. Yeah, it will be represented in the rest of our forms. But I'm not trying to give you a lesson on accounting right now, so let's leave that alone. For now, we're looking at QuickBooks, the software, and how we use it and navigate it.
Mr. Green, excuse me.
Yes?
Why exactly you said we're going in profit and loss? Why profit and loss report for the
Well,
the
it
information?
it would be reflected. It would be reflected in there. That's not where you would go to see the transaction, but it will be reflected in a number of places. The profit and loss is one place, right? Because it will be represented as profit, right? But it will be represented in a number of other reports.
Okay, like sales or
Right,
customer.
like sales, yeah, right.
Okay.
So if you go sales by customer, you would see the customer detail. But QuickBooks has so many form options, so many reports, options that you can customize that we really cannot go for all of them. But yeah, it would show up on all of your sales reports, right? It will also affect your profit and loss. Remember, we spoke about two main reports that we use, which is the profit and loss on the balance sheet, right? There are a number of others, but we're not gonna go through them right now. Any questions up to that point? We're good. All right. So that is how we would create a sales receipt, right? If we were receiving funds at the time of sale. All right. After you receive payments, or receive payments in general, right? The next logical step is to record the deposits, right? And we can see our payments here. We can see our check payment from Digital Solutions, which we applied earlier, right, of $1,077.50. We can see our Baker Chris cash payment here of $1,000, right? And we can also see there was a couple other payments that we received, right? So we have a total of $4,517.50 to be deposited, right? We don't have to deposit all of it at once, right? We could deposit one or two, right? And we could also sort it by type. So we could look for all our cash payments, all our all of our cash payments, right? So our cash payments go one place, right? Then we could look at all of our check. All of our check payments, may go another place, right? So we can find our individual payments, but let's look at all of them one time and let's make one deposit. All right. Selected all of our payments. Okay. Right. We want to deposit it to where? We have a number of places. We have a checking account. We have a savings account. We have petty cash. We have other places. Let's just put that in our checking account so we can write checks to pay bills. Right. So we put it in on, let's say we do it at the end of the week, Friday. Right. Memo deposit. So we should now have deposited $4,517, save and close, into our bank account, our checking account actually. Yeah. Straightforward enough, right? Okay. Any questions on anything up to that point? Entering bills, paying bills, creating invoices, creating receipts.
So far, it's okay for me.
All right.
It's okay so far.
Okay, let's look at the next routine thing that you want to do, pay employees, right? A lot of companies pay employees by time, right? So they would use either a weekly timesheet or a single activity. However, for our example today, we're not going to put in time for employees. We're just going to give an employee a flat payment. All right. So let's come out from here. Right. So you could enter time and calculate the payment based on a payment structure. But we just want to pay our employees. We know how much we pay our employees, right? Okay. We can see here once I go, I have a notice for an overdue bi-weekly payment, right? So we could another paycheck. Multiple employees already have a paycheck dated on or after the new check date. For the last paycheck for the employees. Again, issues because we're dealing with sample data and sample dates. But anyway, okay. So we have 3 employees here, right? 2 of them have a regular $80 payment, right? $80 or 80 hours. I'm not even sure at this point. Well, let's do that. All right, let's just pay them and I will do another example. So we can opt to pay either one employee. In that case, let's just pay Elizabeth Mason, right? So Elizabeth has paycheck dated 15/12, which is on or after the new check date of 29/12. Okay. So you might have one. Let's just continue. So we gonna continue with paying Elizabeth Mason, right? We're paying her from our checking account. And for the error, we will just change the pay period, right? So it would be from, let's assume, wait, 2007. Oh, 2022, sorry. 20. Check date would be 2022. So actually 2020. Sorry. Sample data. All right. And let's say we wrote the check on that Friday, 18th. Pay period is for same time, the 18th. All right. Pay Elizabeth Mason for that pay period. Pay period ending the 18th of December 2020. You pay from the checking account, right? And continue. So that's 80 hours. All right. Okay, so we can see here that Elizabeth Mason regularly works 80 hours, right? And gets paid for that. So based on the previous setup, meaning it's sample data, so we're using what's already configured for total hours of 80, right? Her gross pay is $1,180. She pays $245.04 in taxes. That's a net pay, employer taxes, or the contributions like Social Security, right? And then we can create paycheck. Hold on, let me not do it trying to print the paychecks. That's if I go print paychecks, it'll actually give you the option to print the checks if your company does that. But really and truly what you would do is write your check, right, to pay your employee. Everybody get that? Let me pull up the employee center and see what sort of information we have. Each one of the major areas have their own center, right? We have the vendor center, we have the employee center, we have the customer center, all right? The employee center, we can manage our employees. So we can see for Elizabeth, we just made a payment to her of $944.96, right? On, well, for the pay period and in the 18th, and we can see the previous transactions that we've made. And we can also pull up the other information for the other employees as well. The previous payments. Yeah. Okay, any questions, guys? Simple enough, right?
Yes, so it's looking okay.
Yeah. Some companies have a more complicated payroll process if they have a large number of employees, but then they will let you know exactly how they deal with it for them specifically, right? If you're ever in that situation. All right, guys. So these are the main tasks that you will have to perform on a daily basis within, or well, on a regular basis within QuickBooks. Entering bills, paying bills, creating invoices, estimates, or receipts, and paid employees, well, recording deposits. Yeah, any questions on these tasks, these basic tasks? Yeah, I see a couple chat messages. Okay, so we're all good, right?
Yes, I see that about credit card. That's why when you're shopping online, when you
No,
pay card,
well, QuickBooks does give you the option to accept credit cards, but you know, living in Dominica, being a special place, that doesn't really apply to us. So what you would probably do is you would record a credit card payment, but you wouldn't accept it within QuickBooks. Notice they give you the option to sign up for QuickBooks payments where you can pay them X amount a month, and they will allow you to swipe credit cards within your QuickBooks application for yeah. But those services mostly does not apply to Dominica, so you wouldn't find any, well, you rarely find anybody locally using it unless if they have US bank accounts.
All
right. Mika, I see you say you don't really understand. The good thing is the sessions are recorded, so I will send you a link to the recordings later on. All right. All right, guys. So we are good. No more questions as yet?
Nothing for me yet.
Okay, it would be really good to have you guys face to face. So then I'll give you guys some activities to do on QuickBooks. But since we don't have that option, I promise you guys I'll let you go a little bit early today. So not at 4 o'clock, right? So it's 3:47. If you guys have no further questions, we're gonna wrap up here for today, and we will continue tomorrow.
So online tomorrow again?
Online tomorrow again, unless I can confirm otherwise, okay?
Oh, okay, all right, cool.
Yeah, and if you, when you review the videos, I will hopefully have them up a little later today. You will have any questions, any questions you have, actually, you can just make a note of them and we can discuss them tomorrow or the next time we meet.
Okay then.
All right, guys?
Okay, thank you, sir.
No problem. Have a good afternoon.
Yeah, you too.
I will see you all tomorrow.
Okay.
Bye.
Have a good
All right,
afternoon.
Mr. Benjamin.
Bye. Yes,
Everybody
sir.
have a good afternoon.
All right.